Go ahead.
What do you think is the solution? I mean, you came up with all the explanation for what's happening. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot, what do you think would be the argument there? The point is, I mean, after all, what you said is all right, it's all true. They have the double standard. They know the law, but they still go with their benefit. They go, but with their personal benefit at the end of the day. Whether it's money, politics, power, whatever you want to call it, that's their benefit. Now, if that shoe was on the Muslim side, would they do the same or not? That's the argument. The argument at the end of the day is the solution for everything that we see around us is really to go back to the law, to the rule. And the rule is really the Islam. The Islam, when it comes to it, they don't differentiate between you white or black, between you foreign or Arab, or, you know, they don't discriminate about anything but what you believe in. And the belief is everybody is equal in the Muslim eye. Everybody have the same right. Everybody, no matter what's your status in the society, whether you are a ruler, whether you are a regular citizen, at the end of the day, we all are the same, and we all have to apply the law. Now, when it comes to the Western side of it, America in particular, as a matter of fact, it's a new country. When it comes to it, it's a 250, 300 years old country where it was established to start with aggression. When you come look at it,
it was a British colony, actually.
Thank you. I mean, it started with an aggression altogether. They took the Indians' properties, and they took over their rules and regulations, and they put their own. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know that Texas, half of it belonged to Mexico.
Mexico. Yes.
So unfortunately, when it comes down to it, it's what's my benefit? How do I get it? And that's the way it needs to be done. Now, when you are in an aggression of that size and that magnitude, what should you do? You know, again, we go back to Islam. Islam is a peaceful religion. It's a peaceful for all humanity at the end of the day. But is it going to solve our problem? It is not. You know, my grandfather used to say, what's taken by power is going to have to be given back by power. I'm not saying go kill them. I'm not saying go fight them. But there has to be some kind of compromise between people. You know? And I'm not sure, really, I'm listening to you, and I agree with everything you said, but it's not going to be the solution. You can stand in this member and
no, let me make one thing clear here. Islam is not a pacifist religion. There is a difference between that Islam calls for peace, and Islam means peace, and being a pacifist. Islam doesn't believe in the concept if somebody hits you on your cheek, you turn the other cheek. No, we don't believe in that. And actually, Islam teaches us that once you adopt this religion, once you're sincere about it, the whole world is going to fight you, and you should fight back. This is the teaching of Islam. So I'm not taking a pacifist stance here. Like, I'm not a pacifist, me myself, I'm not a pacifist. But I'm saying at the end of the day, we're Muslims. Yes. I'm governed by what God tells me. Otherwise, I'm just like my enemies. If I justify even my shortcomings, even the mistakes that I do, or I don't even consider them mistakes, then who am I to say that those people or that people are wrong? They're not wrong. So I get your point that what's taken by power should be or only will be returned by power. Yes, I get that, and that could be, yes, that's the solution. I don't believe, actually, I like the statement that Barack Obama said about the Palestinian issue. He was like, he said, the hardest part about this conflict is that you have one side that has all the power, and you have one side that has no power. You cannot give, like, if you think that people sit on a negotiation table because of their eloquence, like, read history and educate yourself in politics. People do not sit on the negotiation table because you're eloquent, or because you have the greatest chance in the street. No, it's what you're worth at the end of the day. So I get that part, but what I am doing here is a bit different, because we don't have that power. Like, let's face it, I don't have that power to end the occupation. I don't have that power to end the oppression in the world. I don't have it. But what I have is my tongue. And that's also like another form of resisting that oppression. And I'll use my tongue. I'll use everything in my disposal to fight oppression. In this case, I'm using my tongue. Because it's, as I said, like it's, at least I'm telling them, as I said, like I'm exposing those politicians. If they tell us, okay, this is how the world works, this is the way that we will deal with this situation, I accept it. But I want you to go and tell people that. I want you to tell people that we'll kill as many Palestinians as it takes. We don't care. I want you to say it like a man. Like you, Senator Lindsey Graham, you keep talking as you're a man of logic, you're a man of reason, and you talk like don't be naive. There is nothing to be like. Let's talk about this with seriousness. So say it like a man. Say a Palestinian's life don't matter. Just say it like this. Say international laws don't matter. We don't give a shit about. And I'm sorry about the language. We don't care about the international law. Say it like that. Do not say that we have the moral ground and Israel is defending itself. Say it's a genocide and it's a genocide and we'll kill Palestinians.
But we have to start with the bottom line. Bottom line is our own country does not give a shit, excuse my language. I mean, we start with people that when you were talking about Britain left the Middle East and put another Britain in there, but with a Arabic face and an Arabic tongue. That's what they did. Same thing to French, same thing to all the occupying powers. And the colonization that was done in the Middle East in general, it was never ended up until today. You go to Saudi Arabia, Jordan, wherever you want to go, if they do not obey the American rules and the British rulers and tell them what to do, they will not be there. Unfortunately, they are protected by the Israelis, by the Americans, by the colonizing countries in general, for them to stay alive and stay in their position. And that's what our problem is. Unfortunately, even the people back home, they don't even, I mean, they are there, they are fighting what they don't know.
And this is what I can do. What I can do is raise awareness. I believe, I don't know the ultimate answer, but I know that raising awareness and knowledge is a line of defense. I know that for sure.
And that's all we can do.
Yeah, so, and I will do it. I will try to raise awareness. I will try to educate people. I actually think that the solution lies within knowledge. Like, we have to learn everything. Like, when we talk about, this was supposed to be the second lecture, actually, the victorious generation, how to be victorious. We need to basically to learn everything in our religion, verse by verse, hadith by hadith. You need to, because people are attacking you left and right. Like, look at this. These are just like some of the threats that we face as Muslims. Like, you have the new Abrahamic religion. You have to have the foundation to know what's right and what's wrong. And that is something, maybe I don't have the power, but at least like we should have that knowledge, because we will be questioned by Allah Azza wa Jal on the Day of Judgment about what did we do with the capacity that we were given. We have to fight pantheism. We have to fight religious equality, that all religions are the same. No, they're not the same. We do not believe that all religions are the same. That doesn't mean that we are not going to coexist. Like, if you look at the other slide, I'll tell you like how Muslims coexist with other people. But that doesn't mean that we're the same. No, we're not the same. And our version of truth is totally different than your version. And I'm not saying it's subjective even. You have to fight with existentialism. You have to fight with Khawarij. You have to fight with all of these people. So how are you gonna do it if you're not arming yourself with knowledge? So that's the only thing that I can think of. The only thing that I can think of is we need to learn. You need to. This is why like we started with the ancient history. You need to know your history. You need to, if you're not winning the physical fight, at least win the moral fight. Until like the situation changes and you win the physical fight. Just like until then. But and I'm happy with it, wallahi, like when I engage in a conversation, because that's all I can do. When I engage in any conversation or even like debates about these matters, what I'm trying to do is, do we believe in common sense or not? If we believe in common sense, then I apply it on myself and you apply it on yourself. If you're gonna have double standards, this means that the conversation is over. You're only arguing with me, power. that you have power over me. Yeah, of course you have power over me, but I'll tell you what, it changes. And for example, the weight that the U.S. holds now in the world is not the same that the U.S. held in like 20 years ago. Not even like a century ago, 20 years ago. It's not the same. You have a rise of وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَامُ نُدَاوِلَهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. These days, like you have this nation on top, the next day you'll have another nation on top. So the powers, they shift all the, like we ruled for centuries, for God's sake. Like Muslims, we ruled for centuries. And we were the power. So, as I said, like this, the power thing, it changes. But we existed, subhanAllah, it's one of the tests that Allah Azza Jal is testing us with. We're here at this very particular time in history. Allah is not going to hold us responsible or ask us, why didn't like you end oppression? But Allah is going to ask you, like, I give you this capacity. What did you do with it? So we have to prepare an answer for that. I thank you for your questions, and I think we end with this, but the floor is open for questions or comments if you have any questions or if you have any comments. Because I think we're past time here. And
well, if you was saying that you admire leaders that didn't go by the British and the United States rules, that's General Kamal. That's General Nasser, bruh. He was aligned.
I'm not saying that he's wrong all the way.
He was aligned with the Soviet Union.
If you want to talk about Nasser, I'll talk about Nasser.
He wasn't no puppy for the U.S., man.
No, he wasn't. Yes, he wasn't. Absolutely no.
Okay.
I will give him his due in this. Like he was a man of dignity, and I believe that.
He was the father of Pan-Arabism. I mean,
Yeah.
the father.
And my problem with that is that it made the Egyptian army like goes into 3 or 4 wars unnecessarily, that we're still like paying for it right now. Like Nasser, when he ruled over Egypt, Egypt was bigger and was wealthy. Like Egypt was lending money to the UK. And in a matter of 10 years or less than 10 years, right now we're still like in a huge debt because of the wars that he got us into. And we're still paying for it. Like generations after generations, we're still paying for the mistakes and the foolishness that he did. So, again, like I get people why they. I'm not trying to like attack Nasser Allah. Like if you like him, if you respect him, I get it. For example,
I mean,
like Churchill.
I don't like him like that. Where,
Yeah.
Like you
I
can say something about him. I'm not like.
No, but I mean
talk
like
about him.
people consider at least the Brits.
It's facts.
I don't think he's a deity.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the British, for example, the British, for example, they respect Winston Churchill. For me as Egyptian, Winston Churchill is nothing but a thug.
Winston Churchill is rubbish, man.
Yeah, he's a thug. He used to plunder my country's resources. And this is like how they got wealthy. This is how, and even the U.S., how did they start with money? It was a British colony. They had the money from India, they had the money from Egypt, they had the money from all of those countries. This is like how you're wealthy now, and we're not.
Well, I definitely agree with you.
But people think that he's the greatest British, like Brits at least. They think that he's the greatest. He was a genocidal maniac as well.
No, exactly. And then
For his country.
if we're gonna start right there, first the British need to give back the Egyptian artifacts out of the British Museum.
Yeah.
That's what I was shocked when I went to the pyramids, that most of the stuff's in London.
In our dreams.
Right, exactly, man.
Yeah, in our dreams. And they benefit from
They
it.
need to get those back to start off before you can have a conversation.
But to have the audacity to come and lecture us centuries after they plundered our resources, to lecture us about morality.
Exactly.
Actually, Churchill believed that the British colonies was civilizing those Arab Bedouins. We needed to be civilized. Because we were just like ignorant, poor people in the desert. We didn't know any better. We needed them to clean us.
Well, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Like before that,
This is why, like, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom
It's
fighter.
the same argument in Iraq, come on, for God's sake. They want to send freedom to Iraq. Look what happened.
Well,
It's the same argument all over again. I mean, it might take centuries and centuries, but at the end of the day, occupation is the same. And freedom in their eyes of their people is, oh, he's a hero. Well, you know, Bush was a hero. For what? Destroying other people's lives. That's it.
No, but I mean, like, because this is, you reminded me of, okay, go ahead.
well, just with one simple example, before the British interacted with the Middle East, they was throwing buckets over the side of their windows. They didn't even know the Arabs taught the English about their sanitation system. They were just, excuse my language, they was shitting in a bucket and throwing it over the top, throwing it out
Right.
the window, man.
As a matter of fact, I'm reminded of this point because of this fruitful discussion. It's very important to differentiate. I don't like the notion that everything is open for interpretation. It's not. Like, if you think there is moral ambiguity about genocide, you're not a human being. You have a moral problem. You have a moral decay. If you think it's ambiguous, and this is why, like, I'm not saying this is subjective. I'm not saying that it's your say against my say. No, these are some things that we all, as sane people, agree on. We agree on, like, for example, Israel should have, like, if you're really holding Israel to full accountability, they should have clear, measurable goals. What are their clear, measurable goals of the wars that's going on? I'm even, like, gonna agree with them that Hamas are terrorists, and you should wipe them off the face of the earth. Okay. What are your objectives? First of all, I'm killing the leaders of Hamas. Okay, that's one objective. What's the second objective? I'm weakening their operational capabilities. Okay, sounds miserable. What's the third objective? Free hostages. Okay, you had 2 months up until this moment. What did you do? Did you kill any leaders? No. Okay. Did you free any hostages? No. You had to make a deal with them. Okay. Did you weaken their operational capabilities? Absolutely not. They still fire the same amount of rocks. So what does that leave you? You still managed to kill 23,000 people, including 12,000 children. This is not a moral quandary anymore. This is not like, if you're, like, hold responsible and accountable for your actions, it's not just like a military failure. It's beyond that. It's as I said, like, moral decay. We've passed that point of, you're ineffective. We're past that point, militarily speaking. But if you keep covering up for whatever they do, like, how many days are you gonna give them? It's been 60 days. They didn't do, like, one single objective. I'm not even, like, I even agreed that they for the sake of argument, I agreed with all your premises. But if I'm holding you responsible for these measurable, these attainable goals, you didn't achieve nothing. So this is inhumane. Like, you should compare if you have a higher ratio of civilian deaths to combatants, it means that not only that you're ineffective, you're actually committing genocide.
That's not the goal. I wasn't here last week. I don't know if y'all talked about it. The goal was to take back Gaza, and then they want to refine the oil that's outside of the Gaza Bay and start the pipeline from Iraq to the Mediterranean Sea to combat the.
Unfortunately, with the help of the Arab countries.
Yeah, that's one reason a lot of these countries are being quiet.
They're not quiet.
Well,
They're actually complicit. They're not quiet. Unfortunately.
Well, that's why they wiped out the pipeline from Russia to Europe. So wanted to build a pipeline from Iraq to Gaza.
Yeah.
That's what we know. There's a lot of plans God knows what they have planned to
Well, there's a reason why they keep coming to go south.
Do you have a question? Go ahead.
So,
I cannot hear you.
you know how like there's a lot of boycotting that's going on with Jewish, businesses and stuff.
Right.
Starbucks and those.
Right.
Do you think this is an effective thing we're doing, or should we force it on other Muslims too?
Force it, no. Is it effective?
You
Yes.
should say something.
What?
Well, first
Force
you,
it, no, but you should say something.
Yeah. It's effective.
I preach to my
Yes.
mother not about
Right.
products that support Zionist nation. Unless it's my duty to speak up and say something. Yes, if you see another Muslim, your duty is to say something. Yes.
Right. But there is a difference between, sometimes it gets tricky because people think that you're sinning if you buy like a Starbucks coffee. It's not a sin. Wait a second, it's not that type of a sin. We're not, so religiously speaking, it's not that. So we're not forcing anyone to do this. But is it effective? Yes. But also, because we're in the state of Kentucky, you should be aware of the anti-BDS laws, because there are anti-BDS laws in this state, unfortunately. So if you you can boycott the U.S., nobody will tell you anything. But if you boycott Israel, actually, you're violating some laws here in Kentucky. So you should be you should do your research about this. You should not be responsible. Just be responsible. Do it with care. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just telling you, know your rights, and just be aware of the laws that you live under.
you need to clarify too. It's not boycotting Jewish businesses. It's boycotting Zionists supporting Israel supporting businesses.
Right.
I guess the mistake that they made with that business in Philadelphia, where they tried to say that it was anti-Semitic, but the news is leaving out that business actually donated to the IDF. That's why they was boycotting that business.
I think we're gonna end here. Officially, the session is ended. Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you for attending. Next time it will be a brief lecture about the media and how to deal with argumentations. We'll send emails about it, but as far as I know,